I haven't told you guys this happened yet, and I figured I would save it for the podcast.
Hell yeah.
This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done, and it was on Christmas. Joe, do you remember when we got those edibles?
Yeah.
And the thing on it said there was 10 of them, and it was 1,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
So to me, that means 100 milligrams.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1,000.
Yeah.
And I took it and ended up calling 911 and having a panic attack.
Did you take the entire? You took the
I
entire.
took just one.
Hell yeah, I'm not the gayest guy in the podcast anymore.
Oh my god!
For about 4 hours on Christmas, I was in the emergency room, and the doctor was. I remember at the end of it, the doctor was extremely annoyed that I asked to talk to him because I was still very confused. And
You were just alone by yourself?
yeah, I sat down. I just got back from the day before I was at the Baseball Hall of Fame, so I was like, I'll sit down and watch Field of Dreams. So I'm taking 1,000 milligram edible and watching a movie about a guy hearing voices in a field.
Oh no! You're like, I've never related more to a character in my life.
Damn,
And-
that's awesome.
And I can't even tell you what I was freaking out about. It was just anxiety and paranoia, but I couldn't tell you what I was like anxious
Well, it's
about.
probably
Yeah.
just like you were never that high before in your life.
Yeah.
So you were. It was a whole new sensation that you were completely.
But I can't
unfamiliar
believe you
with.
went from being alone to being like in the hospital surrounded by people. When I would get high, the thing I would hate the most is like interacting with other people.
Yeah.
Like going into a store and being like, he's gonna know I'm high. You know, that
well, once
shit.
I called 911, I'm like, they know I'm high.
Yeah.
They're gonna know.
Fucking, you would have gotten arrested for that like 5 years
Yeah.
ago. How funny is
So
that?
what did you think you were having a heart attack?
I thought it was possible. That was the thing, is they checked my vitals and all, and it was all fine. But I guess it's just I never felt that way, so I'm like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna do something where I'm
The
gonna die?
THC fucking fixed his brain so he wasn't retarded for like
Yeah.
4 hours, and he couldn't handle it.
I'm multitasking. I'm having ideas all at
Yeah.
once.
I just called and said, I kind of have memories of what I was saying, which it's crazy because
You're
even
talking about it like it's an alcoholic blackout.
Yeah,
You're
well,
like, I
that's
do
the-
remember some of it.
well, because even a couple days later, I was like in hindsight thinking that was a really serious thing that I was really upset because I was so paranoid. I'm like, I can't believe, and then I realized I'm like, I was just calling people going, my brain's not working, I need help, which is not actually not that big of a deal. Which
that
is
was
why-
like the second time in your life you've said that too.
Yeah. Because I've taken 25 and 50 milligrams before, so I figured, all right, 100 won't be that bad.
Matt's gonna have an aneurysm, and it's gonna be the boy that cried wolf.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, something's wrong with my brain. Like, okay, buddy, eat another cheeseburger. You'll be fine. Is that what the doctor prescribed you? 3 cc's of cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prescribe you munchies until you pass out.
I called my dad first, actually.
What did Dad say? Called 911.
Yeah.
Dad sucks.
No,
You
he
call-
didn't. He didn't freak out and say call 911. He was just more of like, I don't know what to do other than to tell you to dial 911 because I can't do anything.
I would say like Matt, I need you to take 10 very deep breaths.
Yeah.
I want you to go on your phone. I want you to look up pictures of your family. I want you to look up pictures of your favorite memories to ground you. I want you to have a
Okay.
big glass of water.
Yeah.
And then after you've done all that, I want you to come back to me. I want you to play one of your favorite songs, your favorite song that makes you happy, and then I want you to tell me how you feel after that.
That's
That's
actually
why you
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you don't waste your time fucking talking to your fucking idiot family or some moron doctor at a hospital.
Yeah.
You call a guy that regularly
I
does
should have
drugs.
called you. Yeah.
I'll get you out of that shit, dude. I was hanging out here probably being 3 times as high as you. Fucking like
I mean, 1,000 milligrams is a lot.
I've taken
Joe is as high as Matt. He's like doing his taxes. He's fucking working out.
The most I've ever taken, I did take a 10,000 milligram edible one time in San Francisco. It was this
Really?
brownie, and I ate it all because I was traveling from San Francisco to New York to meet my family.
Yeah.
I was so high. Like I started getting high at work. Like I worked a half day, and I felt like getting high. I hung out. I went home because my parents were going to give me a ride to the airport.
Yeah.
I went to my parents' house. I hung out for like 2 hours watching TV, and I was like, damn, I'm fucking stoned.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the airport. I'm like, well, this is good. I just have a carry-on bag.
Yeah.
I'm already checked in. I got there, no problem. I was like, dude, I am fucking high. I'm fucking high.
Yeah.
And this was a Virgin America flight. which
Yeah.
was cool because like you get in there.
It's every flight I take.
In Virgin America, like they had like color, like low lights, but they were kind of like illuminated. It felt kind of like a club. They had music playing. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fucking cool. I settled into my, I settled into the chair, and like they're doing the security, like, hey, make sure you're fastening your seatbelt. Make sure if you can in an exit row, you can handle that. And I was like, all right, I'm fine. I feel like the plane taking off. And then the next thing I know is like we were landing in New York. So I'd like passed out like literally on a cross country, like 6-hour flight. I was out like the entire time.
Yeah.
I think it was a combination of the cabin pressure and all the THC. But I was stoned like my first full day in New York.
Yeah.
Like my first full day in New York.
Because I was
stoned
feeling
as
it a
shit.
couple days later.
Yeah.
Even still a
But
little bit.
I feel like that like maxed me out, and like
Yeah.
now I'll never be able to get that high ever again.
Yeah.
And that sucks. 'Cause I loved getting that high.
Yeah.
I love getting high.
I couldn't complete any thoughts.
I would
It
give
was just-
anything
yeah.
to be as high as you were, man.
Yeah.
That's the folks. That is the only, and I repeat, only downside of doing drugs is you build up a tolerance and need to do more drugs. But it makes life interesting because it makes an adventure. Always looking for that new drug to get you fucked up.
That's why
What friend or loved one will I betray next for that sweet hit of serotonin, which my body can no longer naturally create? Who must get hurt? It doesn't matter.
I think it's adrenochrome is what you're looking for.
Adrenochrome is what keeps you young. But I don't need to. I want to be like a fucking gross-looking old man.
Well,
Like,
you're well on your way.
Oh, I'm out. I'm not halfway there, dude. I'm taking the Danny DeVito approach. Because eventually, like, you try to look young for too long, and you end up looking weirder than if you just aged out naturally.
Yeah.
It's like the Bill Burr bit. Stop trying to look fuckable in your 50s.
yeah, just like be
Yeah.
you. It's like look, Danny DeVito is probably like the most fuckable man in the world, and he just aged naturally. He's
Yeah.
a fucking king.
Should we open my Christmas gift?
You should.
I kind of want to. I do want to do that, but I'm curious. So did the ambulance come?
Yeah.
So an ambulance came.
Dude, how expensive was that fucking edible trip?
The whole time I was, even while I was still high, I remember asking the entire time about my insurance.
God, dude, you're
So I still
fucked.
I still haven't gotten anything.
Dude, you're gonna have.
I
an
went
awful
to
go.
I went to a hospital that is nearby and just an ER and then came right back and I
That's-
haven't.
dude,
But
you're
also
fucked.
my mom and dad on the phone were like, call 911, and I was like, I don't want to because of insurance. They're like, if you need us to help, we'll help
Oh
out.
no, your poor parents have to
Yeah.
pay because you're a fucking.
Did you
addict.
tell them you were high?
Yeah, I told them I took this edible. I said everything 100% what I did. I was too freaked out to even think of
God.
lying. Which actually, the next day when I talked to them, they weren't mad at me. They were like happy that I called
Yeah.
them.
That you're not
didn't-
dead.
They were,
did
no,
the right
not, even, not
thing.
that I wasn't dead. That my dad wasn't even freaked out by it. My mom kind of was, but they were like happy that I would not try to lie or hide it from them, and that I would call
A fucking
them.
30-year-old man. Fucking thank God you did the right thing
Yeah.
by not telling us you were high.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm glad we didn't have to ground you, Maddie.
Yeah.
Matt comes in. He's like, "Hey guys, we could have New Year's Eve at my house. My parents are cool.
No, it wasn't.
They'll let us drink."
No, it wasn't like a because like they're overprotective like that. It was more of oh my God, even though he's like old and moved out, he still like knows that he can trust us.
Aw.
Even
It
though
was
he
more
can't
of-
handle his own drugs.
Yeah, it was more of a trust thing that they like didn't know necessarily that they'd be my first phone call.
Did they put you on a stretcher?
No.
They had
Okay.
they had to retain. Like they fucking
Yeah.
brought tranks to fucking try to
Yeah.
restrain him.
I feel like that's got to be a good feeling if you're a parent and your kid moves out and they're just gone, but then when they're in trouble, they call you. There is kind of a feeling of, oh, he still like trusts us and likes us. I feel like you may be worried a little bit if like he's gonna be doing all these things or whatever. He's gonna get in trouble and we'll never know what's going on.
I remember my
Yeah.
mom being disturbed because I went to Tennessee and back without telling her.
Yeah.
She was like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't need your help with it." She
I
was
did
like, "You
that-
could have let me know." I'm like,
Yeah, in college, I visited a friend who lived in Texas without telling my parents, and it was still, and they like freaked out about that.
That's so wild, dude.
Yeah.
I do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I don't
I do
need fucking
too, yeah.
mommy and daddy to fucking sign a permission slip. I'm a fucking grown man.
No,
and if
my-
they got a
yeah.
fucking problem with it, I'll throw them down a flight of fucking stairs, dude. You think I care about their inheritance? I don't need their Bob Dylan albums, dude.
I don't think my parents would have said no to any of it. They just
Yeah, they
want to
would.
know. Your mom wouldn't have said no to you going to Tennessee.
I mean, she can't.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Yeah, it's not like
As long
my
as like,
parents-
as long as my parents don't find out I do heroin, it's like whatever.
You know what it is? I was like, I'll tell them about it eventually, but you can't tell your parents everything because then your phone calls will get too repetitive.
You're not like
Yeah.
fucking friends with your parents.
I mean, even people I'm friends with. I mean, do I text you guys ever?
No.
Yeah.
I prefer it that way.
Yeah.
yeah, but we're not friends.
But like
we're,
I
we're
don't,
business.
yeah.
That's
I don't
right,
fucking
I forgot
text
that.
my boss saying like I'm going out to eat. You
Yeah.
want me to pick you up anything?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Uh-oh.
Well, I also don't regularly talk to my parents. Like
I
that.
never talk to my parents.
I would consider myself like friends with my dad, but we like talk baseball.
Really?
You have friends who you just talk about different things with.
yeah.
But when it's like, if I have a moment of like I don't know what's happening, I'm freaking out, I'm panicking. My dad's like the one I'm gonna call.
Daddy, I'm high. Help, Daddy, I'm high. So the ambulance gets there. Do you? So they don't put you on a stretcher. So are you just sitting in the back with the
Yeah.
EMTs?
Yep.
And are they?
Damn.
What's
On
their
Christmas?
Yeah. On Christmas.
Damn, dude.
In hindsight, I haven't thought about this really because all in the moment and afterwards I was just thinking about how I was feeling the whole time. In hindsight, he was just doing his job and realizing I wasn't a threat to myself and was like, all right, I got to take this guy in. Probably on his phone, just relaxing because he doesn't have a difficult job at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go. I guess to the emergency room and you're seen by an intake nurse.
Yeah.
And what's that like? Is she? I'm just asking. A heavy-set black woman.
No, it was actually like a young Asian guy.
Huh.
And I tell
He
him.
said, "Right this away, so please. You're very, very high."
And I tell him that I took some edibles. And
Oh,
I'm, like,
edible,
way too
very,
high.
very bad.
No, he was the other way. He was like sick, dude. Like went to give me a fist bump, and I was just like, "What's wrong with you? This, like, I like this is serious. What's wrong with you?"
Matt's
so
a melted girl from the PSA on the
Yeah.
couch. Like, I can't move.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you all learned a valuable lesson about not doing drugs and then discovering them later in life. The best time to do drugs is mild experimentation in college, and then from 23 onwards, just live in a haze of marijuana smoke all your life.
So and then so, are there any other people between this Asian intake nurse and the doctor who was mad at you?
I don't remember.
Such a blur.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah,
you were just
dude.
there for a few hours?
Yeah, I fell asleep. I woke up.
Dude, if you took
And
an
s-
ambulance, that's going to be a huge fight. Your parents
Yeah.
have to be rich, dude. I'm not even kidding. Like, for
Subscribe
an
to the
ambulance ride,
Patreon, folks, in case Matt has another
Yeah.
panic attack where he needs to be driven to the
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah, I remember one of the nurse woke me up and said, "You're discharged," and I was like, can I talk to the doctor?" Because I like had no idea what had happened or what was going on, and he just came out and seemed so annoyed that I even wanted to talk to him. Was like, "You're fine. It'll wear off. It's just time. Go home."
Okay.
And then
That's
But then
so funny.
you're like definitively like, this is over then.
yeah.
Okay.
That's so. I
And I
guess
just
yeah.
knew it was gonna wear off, and I was just like trying to do stuff and just kind of very confused by the whole thing.
That's so
Yeah.
wild, man. Like,
Yeah.
you've never had to go to like a chill out tent at a concert or anything?
No, I mean I've worked security at concerts,
But like, I mean, like a chill out tent is basically like when people
Yeah.
like overindulge,
Yeah.
and like maybe got like a little dehydrated or shaken up.
Yeah.
Where they basically, they take you to a tent, like maybe they let you hang out and
Yeah.
drink water and eat some lemon wedges and just kind of.
I've blacked out before drinking.
Well, that's completely different. Alcohol and marijuana are
Because
so
alcohol
different.
lowers your inhibition, so nobody is ever like, "Oh my god, I am too drunk."
Yeah.
No one ever's like that.
Yeah.
Everyone's the perfect amount of drunk to drive, dance, post on Twitter.
Whereas with marijuana, it's like you're never high enough.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like smoking weed before the podcast, and then Matt's talking about being too high, and I'm like, I'm not high enough. I am not high enough right now.
I guess in hindsight, and even beforehand, if you had asked me who would I call if I had like a drug emergency, I would think Joe. But in the moment, I'm just thinking I'm gonna die, and in that moment, I'm like, yeah,
I
want
want to talk to my dad.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? Now it's like, well, this definitely we got to put a pin in that hole. I want to do mushrooms at some point because it's like.
Well, I
dude,
would do it with you.
It's all
I would
said
do it
and
with
said.
someone.
I mean, do you really want to do you want your first time tripping on shrooms to fucking be Joe like, oh, really, Matt? Oh, really? Are you starting to trip?
Well, even
no.
look, even us on the podcast, as soon as I talked about taking too much of an edible, Joe's like, "Here's what I would have said," and was the most serious I've ever seen him in my life for a minute straight.
It's the only thing I'm ever serious about.
So I actually do trust being around Joe on shrooms.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
if
dude.
something was wrong, he would actually seriously.
I'm
help me.
gonna wait until spring. I feel like shrooms
Yeah.
would be a good spring thing to get
Yeah.
out of the winter fog, especially a nice. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna get a good quarter of shrooms.
Yeah. I'll probably lie to my parents about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, last time I did I did shroom chocolates with the lady, but then the first time we did shrooms, we got like actual like dry shroom, like the actual like psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah.
And we got orange juice and we got some mangoes and frozen pears.
Yeah.
And we blended it up and we made a smoothie. And we basically drank like an eighth of shrooms each. And then we went to Coney Island for the day.
Ooh.
And that was a lot of fun, just kind of walking around Coney Island. It's good to be with like a person that you kind of vibe with on an energy level. Because, I mean, like shrooms just kind of... People will say like, oh, I had a bad time on shrooms or I had a great time. But really, it's whatever feelings you had going on at the time, whatever thoughts were going through your mind, it will amplify that.
You don't think anyone's completely like 180, completely surprised?
No, I think like I think like what it is, it's like because one time I did acid and I started feeling bad and I was like, damn, I was trying to like avoid this. I was hoping that this feeling would kind of be repressed doing this. Because like you can't treat drugs like alcohol because alcohol is great for like repressing that shit and numbing your and not thinking. But, you know, drugs, they bring a lot of that stuff to the forefront, which is why, you know, now they're saying like MDMA and psilocybin might be good for, you know, people like trying to recover from post-traumatic stress and shit like that. It's kind of bringing that stuff to the surface.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're in a bad mood, it's going to make your fucking bad mood way fucking worse.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. That's why you got to be in a good mindset.
Yeah.
So if you have something going on or if you're like not 100% in a good mindset, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
I do it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Do as I say, not as I do.
If I can work through it, it's like chill.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's also, I have felt better about myself doing that because it does feel like therapy in a lot of ways. One time when I was on like a lot of shrooms, this is back in San Francisco, I was like really fucking tripping, but then I kind of started looking back on my entire life, like all of my existence as an outsider.
Outside of everything.
Yeah, and it helped me like make amends with a lot of things. Like I realized like I myself like wasn't like perfect, and so it helped me like forgive people because I realized
You used to think you were perfect?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everyone is for a little bit, or just get out of themselves.
You're either most people are, especially when you're young, are one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
You're either like I'm God's gift to the world, or you're like I'm a fucking loser piece of
Yeah.
shit. You could guess which one I was.
And eventually, like as you get older, you find like it's like we're just people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, for some people like we're very good, and for some people we're like an asshole. A lot of people just fall like in usually indifferent apathy.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess, there was an overall feeling of, even like days after, of nothing matters.
Yeah, you'll
Which
get that.
is, also, I guess, so days afterwards, even though I wasn't high anymore, I felt like I was almost going through the motions of things I know I'm supposed to do, but not feeling like they mean anything.
No, it doesn't, and that's why I'm apathetic all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, come here. Like I'm getting high. I'm like, this shit
Yeah.
doesn't. You know, a lot of this shit doesn't matter.
But
What was your attitude before you? Because now I'm wondering, Joe's like, it's set and setting. I know he's talking about shrooms,
Yeah.
but did you have a certain character about yourself before you took the edible? Were
No.
you feeling stressed or something?
No, my thought was it's Christmas Day. I got some Chinese food, and I'm going to watch a movie and do the Jewish Christmas. And I've taken edibles before, and it just kind of makes me nice and relaxed, and I'm going to watch Field of Dreams. And I'm like, maybe I'll cry at the end of this.
Okay. And you did.
Yeah. And, so I was, like, very relaxed and in, like, a good place, and then just...
I wonder if it was
yeah.
because you're watching Field of Dreams. I wonder if you watched something cool like Bullet Train, which I think you would really like.
Yeah. Maybe.
Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, it's real fucking
It's
good.
Brad Pitt on a train.
Yeah, it's real fuck. It has everything you
Okay.
want.
Yeah.
Intense fighting and trains.
Hell yeah.
You should leave a 1-star review for Field of Dreams. Watch this movie. Ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner messages you. It's like
Yeah.
you fucked up my algorithm.
Yeah.
Locker Room Talk. Check it out wherever podcasts are sold.